Military veterans from around the four-state area reflect on the anniversary of 9/11 and recent events in Afghanistan. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
Plus, a Missouri Marine killed in an attack in Kabul is returned home to his final resting place.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Four states veterans reflect on the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan ahead of the 20th anniversary of 9/11. This is KOAM News at 6. The Joplin American Legion held its 4th annual Veterans Expo ahead of the anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. KOAM's Zach Dodge spoke with veterans who were comfortable sharing their thoughts on the anniversary and the recent withdrawal from Afghanistan 20 years later.
Hundreds of voices, all talking at once about services available to veterans.
Benefits, services, service-related type items, and even there's several businesses here looking to hire veterans.
But the things that go unsaid, that's the bigger story here.
I've been reflecting a lot.
The expo was held 2 days before the 20-year anniversary of one of the darkest days in America's history. For Joplin native Logan Reynolds, it was a day that shaped the rest of his life.
In elementary school, they turned the TVs on and watched the people jumping out of buildings and towers collapsing. And ever since then, I just want to join the Army.
Another Army vet, Stephen Bradley, remembers exactly where he was when the towers were hit.
I kept seeing the contrails of the aircraft doing U-turns. We ended up watching the second tower get hit, and then, of course, then the National Guard started calling.
Both of them ended up serving in Afghanistan after the War on Terror began. Now, seeing how the withdrawal from the region was handled, and then having the 20-year anniversary of 9/11 happen at the same time makes it tough.
Kind of feel like, we did it for nothing, so to speak. So, but no, I'm glad we're out. I'm glad nobody else has to go back. We protected America. That's the most important part.
It's really bad timing, and it shouldn't have happened then. And to look at it 20 years later to see not a lot has changed. It makes me reflect upon, I'm turning 30, so reflect on my life and what I've experienced since then. And it's been a crazy adventure.
Just some of the thoughts among the crowd before a weekend that could be tough for many. In Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
We have a list of resources available to veterans, their spouses, and families on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The body of a Missouri Marine killed in the August bombing in Afghanistan has returned home. Hundreds of people lined up to pay their respects to 20-year-old Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. Carolyn Hecker has that story.
The sound of motorcycle engines filled the otherwise empty air as the community welcomed Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz home to St. Louis. The preparation began early Wednesday morning as people decorated overpasses in St. Charles County with signs and American flags.
I hope they realize how much support that they all had personally, as well as the entire decision that Jared made when he went into the military himself.
Many people gathered at the Cave Springs exit off of Interstate 70, eager to show their gratitude to the Schmitz family.
I have a son his age that graduated with him, so things like this hit close to home when you put it in perspective that this could be your child.
The escort began around 1:30, making its way from the airport onto I-70. The Patriot Guard and a few other organizations led the way, with Schmitz's casket carried in a trailing Humvee. People lined overpasses, the side of the road, and even stopped traffic to pay their respects.
If we can bring a little comfort to the family by being here, it makes it all the worthwhile.
As the escort made its way onto Cave Springs, hundreds of people stood silently, watching as a hometown hero made his way to the funeral home. It's a reality all too real for some supporters.
There was always a chance I wouldn't come back after 3 tours in Iraq. It's part of me coming out here, my fellow soldiers. I'm out here showing my support.
11 Marines, 1 Navy sailor, and an Army soldier were killed in that suicide attack outside of Kabul Airport on August 26th. Jacob Linder joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Well, no doubt it was a beautiful day out there. It did get off to a little bit of a cool start this morning, but once again, we had no problem warming up. Most of us topped out around 88 degrees. As you can see, 7th and range line right now, as has been the case most of the day. It is very clear. You can see here on the radar from the last 12 hours. Not a lot going on. It's perfect and clear temperatures right now across the area. Most of us still mid to upper 80s. You can see right now 87 in Neosho, 88 in Webb City, a little cooler in southeast Kansas, 83 in Fort Scott, 83 right now in Iola. And as we work through the next few hours, we'll go through the 70s, down through the 60s, and most of us will bottom out in the mid 60s. Dow, we're going to talk a little bit about the forecast, the full forecast, including football tomorrow night here in just a little bit.
Catch you then. Oklahoma lawmakers are laying out plans for more than $1 billion in federal pandemic relief funds. The Joint Committee of the House and Senate on Pandemic Relief Funding met with 2 consultants hired by the state. The consultants are from Guidehouse, a Virginia-based company, and 929 Strategies. Oklahoma is set to receive nearly $2 billion. An additional $1.3 billion will go directly to cities, counties, and towns across the state. The federal government has imposed strict guidelines on how the money can be spent. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has removed the only 2 physicians from the board that oversees the state's Medicaid agency. Dr. Jean Hoshier says she and Dr. Laura Shamblin were both informed that they were being removed from the governing board of the Oklahoma Health Care Authority, and she says they were not told why. Stitt's office did not immediately respond to questions about his decision. Hoshier and Shamblin were among 7 members of the board who voted last week to delay implementing rules on Stitt's plan to privatize some Medicaid services. Still ahead, how a local farm is making sure it can grow product even when the weather won't cooperate, and the woman turning junk into art in Jasper, Missouri. Pittsburgh man is taking the farm indoors. Brad Forby moved to the 4 states from California. He says this area is perfect for his specific brand of agriculture. Forby grows his plants inside old shipping containers. His style of farming takes Mother Nature largely out of the equation and can help feed the 4 states.
We can start producing leafy green, really nutritious food right here in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and distributing it out towards the community versus having it being trucked in from 1,500 miles away. And that was our real goal, is can we do it, how can we do it, and where can we do it? And we decided on the Pittsburgh airport, of course, to put a farm.
Of course, the airport. Forby is in contact with local schools and restaurants to potentially sell his goods. One person's trash is another person's art. KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks introduces us to a Jasper woman turning scrap into sculpture.
The journey really started whenever I was a full-time row crop farmer, and I spent a lot of time on the tractor, and I started doing creative things like in my spare time with rusty junk, and I started making sculptures out of old rusted farm parts. And it started there, and then I started taking in a lot of different recycled materials to turn into art. You know how when you try to hold still, you can't hold still? Like my hand is moving even though I'm holding it still, right? So when you're holding the plasma cutter, if you try to cut a straight line, it's gonna have all these little squiggles in it. But what I do is I try to make a nice fluid arc. It's kind of like thinking of more like sketching, right? So when you're sketching, you're not drawing and keeping your pencil on the paper. You're moving the pencil in an arcing motion, right? Well, I think that there is a shift back towards the trades as a hobby, you know, and people really love to recycle. So picking up new hobbies, learning new things, but also recycling. These are things I really want to pass on to other people.
Wow, great stuff. Angie's main studio is on the square in Lamar. Her shows in the weeks ahead include one at Branson's Silver Dollar City. Jacob Leonard is up next with the complete forecast. Later, we're going to hear from the nationally ranked Pitt State Gorillas as they prepare to take on Nebraska Kearney.
Well, today turned out to no doubt be a beautiful day. We did have a bit of a cool start if you got up early enough, but we had no problems warming back up once again. Most of us topping out in the upper 80s, near 90 degrees. Now taking a look at current conditions right now in downtown Joplin, still warm, 88 degrees right now. The wind coming out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Humidity, not much to speak of, as has been the case most of the afternoon. Now it was a little warmer today than it was yesterday. As you can see, yesterday Topped out at about 85, 86 degrees. Today, a little different story. We made it up to 88 as we just showed you. It is still setting at 88 right now in downtown Joplin. Now taking a look at the temperatures across the area, it's still a little warmer in northeast Oklahoma and southwest Missouri. 89 right now in Miami, 87 in Columbus, a little cooler in Fort Scott, 83 also in Iola. Now taking a look now at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, there's nothing going on, and as you can see from the last 12 hours, that has been the case most of the day. We had a beautiful, clear day all day today. Now future track, when you get up to go to school tomorrow, most of us will be setting in the mid-60s. As we work our way through the day, through the afternoon, we'll touch 90, and then 7 o'clock tomorrow night, of course, we have high school football. You didn't think I was going to skip that, right? Mid-80s, 85 in Joplin, 86 in Chanute, about 83 in Nevada. And then once we work our way through the next few hours, as you're going home from those games, we will find our way back to the 70s. Now through Friday night, Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, once again, we will hit 90, so it'll be warm once again on Saturday. Missouri Southern football, of course, playing their home opener against Northeastern State at 2. If you're going out to that game, we'll have that south breeze, and it will still be warm. We're not quite into fall weather yet. Working our way through the rest of Saturday. It's going to stick around in 90 for most of the afternoon and even early hours into the evening. As we work our way through the rest of this evening, though, we will make our way down through the 80s, through the 70s. By midnight, we're looking at 66. The most of us will bottom out in the lower to mid-60s, 64 in Pittsburgh, 62 in Nevada. Now the story, as has been the case most of the time lately, it's hot tomorrow. It's going to be hot on the weekend, and then it's going to be hot to start next week. Good news, though. We do have some rain chances working in on Wednesday, 40% chance of showers on Wednesday, and with that comes a little cool down, which will be most welcome. You know, I know it's going to be warm out for football this weekend. I'm hoping those 80s stick around for next Friday and Saturday, too. It'll be awesome.
No one's going to complain about cooler temperatures, and we need the rain.
For sure.
Thanks. Coming up in sports, the Pittsburgh boys soccer team hits the field for an SEK matchup against Fort Scott, and the nationally ranked Pittsburgh State Gorillas prepare for Saturday's home opener against Nebraska Kearney. Danny Terzer has that and more next.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas host the Nebraska Kearney Lopers on Saturday in their first home game of the season. Pitt State is 1-0 and has climbed into the national rankings after their season-opening win over Central Missouri last week. UNK is also 1-0 to begin the season. The Lopers beat Missouri Southern 38-0 last Thursday. In that game, Kearney racked up 539 total yards, including 350 yards on the ground. So as always, facing this Lopers offense will be a nice early season test for the Gorillas defense.
The O-line, they come off hard. They want to be physical too, and it's just different because they're downhill trying to run the ball, and we got to prepare for that, and we're here to meet the challenge.
Difficult on the offensive side because of the scheme and the option and the trigger man, the quarterback. I mean, that guy makes them go, and he is a phenomenal player. Been so impressed with him throughout my time here.
Saturday's game kicks off at 7 p.m. at Carney Smith Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh High School boys soccer team is on the field this evening for an SEK matchup against Fort Scott. Pittsburgh is 1-0 in league play, Fort Scott 1-2. The Purple Dragons aiming for their third straight win after topping Parsons and Columbus in their last two games. From a throw-in, Christian Paranto driving toward the net, top corner. Fort Scott takes a 1-0 lead halfway through the first. Pittsburgh putting on pressure now, a few good chances for the Purple Dragons. Jason Morales-Marita chips it toward the net. Johan Areola with the volley just misses wide. Pittsburgh able to turn this thing around. The Purple Dragons win 3-2. The St. Louis Cardinals finish up their 4-game series with the Dodgers today. The Cards beat the Dodgers in Game 3 last night 5-4, but they've lost 2 of the first 3 games in the series. St. Louis trying for the 4-game split this afternoon. Andrew Kisner RBI single gives the Cardinals the first run of the game. Dylan Carlton scores. To the third inning, Trey Turner singles in the gap. Mookie Betts comes home for LA to tie the game up at 1. In the 5th, this was the difference. Tyler O'Neill to left just gets out of the park for the solo home run. Cardinals win and earn the series split 2-1. The Kansas City Royals finish up a 4-game series with the Orioles this evening. The Royals also trying to earn a split after dropping 2 of the first 3. Nicky Lopez with an early first inning home run. Royals lead 1-0. We'll have an update from this one right here at 10. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this. Coming up at 5.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Seaman First Class Leonard Ricci served in the U.S. Navy. Ricci, I should say, his hometown Chicopee, Kansas, and we are proud to salute Seaman First Class Leonard Ricci. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Mike Mahoney joins us with a preview of the news at 9 on Fox 14.
Thank you, Dow, and here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We'll have more about President Biden's new plan to combat the Delta variant. Plus, the Department of Justice is suing Texas over its recently passed controversial abortion law. And we'll check out a Wisconsin brewery that is using its brews to encourage folks to get vaccinated. We've got those stories and a whole lot more tonight on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Mike, thanks. A Missouri artist is using her gift to offer comfort to the families of the 13 American service members killed in the terror attack in Afghanistan. Alan Shope shares her tribute to the fallen soldiers.
I can only imagine what their families are going through.
It's called pinning, looking at a picture and using dozens of pins to recapture that image.
It requires a lot of patience.
Independence artist Evelyn Neal drew all 13 of these in just 24 hours to honor those 13 military men and women killed in Afghanistan last month.
Families and everybody should remember and keep their name and their legacy alive of how these people were such amazing people and they had families and goals and dreams.
She hopes to someday present these pictures to the families. She says if they can comfort them in any way, she wants to do that.
I want them to know that somebody out there really did care and took the time to draw and remember each smile, each face, each wrinkle on the piece of paper.
She adds,
well, I posted on social media about this. I'm going to keep looking and searching for family and even friends to be able to connect me so I'm able to get these out to the family.
The 21-year-old artist said she's using social media to learn more about the service members. She did that as she drew them. This is unusual, surrounded by 2 sports anchors tonight, but Jacob filling in the weather department for today.
I'm going to talk about weather this time. It's going to be hot for the next few days, definitely through the weekend. Look, mid-90s on Saturday and Sunday both. We do have a chance to cool down in the middle of next week, which that'll be nice because it's going to be hot shooting football on Friday and Saturday this week. But we will find our way back into the mid-80s on Wednesday and Thursday, and hopefully those temperatures stick around for Friday night football next week.
Yes, without the rain.
Yeah, we definitely don't want any of that either.
Final sports note.
Pittsburg State Volleyball's home opener is tonight, so we'll have those highlights at 10.
Looking forward to that. Thanks for joining us. We will see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Service is provided by the